Howdy on Warlock's Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Oh man, I am overloaded with junk. Alright, looks like I just finished looting. Let's see if we can't... Why am I so cold? Oh, I think it's in my whatchamacallit. My puffer coat is in my whatchamacallit. Well, I guess it'll stay there then. I don't want to fix it. Hey, bike. It's telling me I'm cold. Oop. Well. Oh no. Dang it. I did not mean to get on the bike. Okay, there we go. I was trying to put gas in the bike. Whew, alright. Guess we'll just drink this, get it out of my way. Okay. Oh man, what is this? I have deep lacerations. Oh no. That's not good. Also, I have too many band-aids on me. Look at that. Here, this will warm me up. Alright, there we go. Moving a little better now. Let's see about getting some more XPs from kills, maybe. Since I'm pretty sure that's the only way I'm gonna get my Crucible is to earn it. Did I mark this place? Yeah. I feel like that's probably everywhere in here. That, oh look, here's a hardware. Did I mark this as a little hardware? Nope. Did I loot the little hardware, though? That's the question. I mean, I clearly have been here before. Come on, guys. Give me that XP. Whoa. Nice. So, yeah, I don't know. A whole lot's going on. This weekend I played a lot of Final Fantasy. So they got this quest line. And it lets you get a special weapon that you level up by doing quests. It doesn't level up, I guess. It increases its stats and stuff as you complete quests related to it. And so I've been working on that, the relic weapon. I guess there's a higher level one than what I've been working on, and but I like doing that kind of stuff. I enjoy questing in a game. Where'd that guy go? Oh, punched me out. That's okay. This will fix my deep laceration. Maybe. Although it does take away some of that experience earned. Um. Okay. Oh man, this is the wrong town. So yeah, so I've been working on that quite a bit, and I'd reached a point where the um basically I it's been a long haul working on this thing so far. Mostly because I don't tend to just jump in random groups to do things, and so I was trying to, work on it with the group of us who were going to play together. Because I thought, there were a couple of us working on it, but then we never do. So I've started working on it outside of group, and um, so I think it started with like a rare. Well, it wasn't rare. You just get it, but it was a specific to your class item, and it's like old and ruined, and so you're doing all these quests to to repair it. But of course, because it's a magic special weapon, you have to get special things. For the most part, it's not been too hard so far. Um, there were a couple of times I had to get help, and some dungeons I ran that I did with help, um, or got in a group that was going into the dungeon. But yeah, the this last batch of quests though was just so many quests. It was crazy. You had to go and you buy these books, and you can only have one book at a time, and there are 9 books, and each book increases the stats on your thing by 2 points. So you have to do all these quests to get 2 more points. But it's in a line of quests, so you have to do the 9 books to be able to access the next one, which is going to have a much larger number increase. Like I did 9 books, I got 18 stat increase, and the next one is going to have a 75 stat increase. So it's a much larger stat increase, and it's going to be stats that I get to choose. And so I already know I'm going to go for critical hit as my primary. Um, but you can only put so many points per stat, and so 44 of them can be critical hit, but then the rest of them have to be something else. Determination is the one that they said to get. But the books before that, oh man. So you get the book, right? It's an MMO, so there's a lot of zones and a lot of creatures, and they've got fates, which are like they're not random, obviously, but they're timed spawn in the world events, and it'll be like something like protect this caravan or kill this boss who's appeared, kind of thing. And so uh, each book had a list of enemies. I'm not sure how many different enemies. It was like 7 or 8, but they're from all different zones, and so it's not like you get together, you kill 8 enemies. No, you got to kill 3 of each kind of enemy, and they're scattered all over the world. So you're basically seeing the game by doing these books. Although a lot of the quests overlapped, so Um, you just you don't kill the same things, but you go back to the same areas, and it definitely would have been a way shorter quest line had you been able to grab all 9 books at the same time. But that is not how it worked, and so I would go online, and there's a website that would just tell you here's where all the things are, and then that would I should come over here and check this junkyard too. And then that would let me look where they are, which ones were in the same zones. And so you got enemies to kill, dungeons you had to do, 3 dungeons for each book, which is group things. So you need like, well, if they're low enough, you could do them by yourself. Like if I was a max level character, it'd be different. But I'm really not too far over the level of the weapon I'm trying to collect. And so um, uh, so most of the dungeons I had to do with other people, and then fates and meets, which is a different kind of quest than the fates. Like the fates just appear in the world, uh, but a meet you request. You go to a guy who has a levy meet or a guild meet or a company meet or whatever they're called. There's different kinds, and so, but they were the same thing as the fates, honestly. The difference being is that the game does a lot of um, level down and gear quality down, and so like I'm level 68, but if I do a level 48 fate, then I have to level down to level 48, and it levels my abilities and my gear down to level 48, right? That kind of thing. Whereas meat, they don't level you down. So it's a level 14 meat, and I'm doing it at level 68, right? And so, yeah, right over here. And so, uh, there's a lot. There was a lot to do. And so over the weekend, I finally had got to a point where sometimes there's nothing going on and I can just work on, fun things. And then other times it's like uh, there are people here just constantly, they need me to do something, or I have to do something, and then I just have no time. And so for the last few weeks, it has been. I guess I already did everything I really want to do here. The last couple of weeks, it has been more than a couple weeks. Last 3 or 4 weeks, it's been no time to do gaming like this. And so um, it's nice to get in and just be able to play the game. And so I managed to um, get all 9 of the books done. I didn't do all 9 of the books this weekend, but I did do probably 4, 5 of them at least. And so I've got my new shiny version of the book, which is awesome. Will you go down this ladder? Bunker. uh, let's see, they had to protect that chair. I feel a little disappointed, Bunker. You're not getting me a lot of cool loots. Where's your loots? So I'm pretty happy that I got that done. Those 9 books finally. It's a lot. Like, that's a lot for one quest. What is this one? Food. This tip will help you scrounge up a bit more food. Okay, cool. And then this is the sawed-off shotgun schematic, which I already had. I don't need that stuff. Could have used that earlier when I had a big cut on my hand. Yeah, so we did that, and then we also got through most of the way through the current expansion that we're on. So it's kind of cool to me. None of the other guys seem to really care, but I played the original, and this is why they don't care. I played the original Final Fantasy when it came out on Nintendo. I mean, probably not immediately when it came out, but when it came out in the United States on Nintendo, the original Nintendo, and so I've played it through multiple times, and so I am familiar with Final Fantasy as a series. Pretty good. I played most of the games. I've played through more than half the games, and so it's really fun because we're doing this expansion, and we just reached a point where the person we have to talk to is this witch woman named Matoya. And Matoya is from the original Final Fantasy game. And so it's really fun to me to run into. I mean, obviously, she's not the Matoya from the original game, but you get these fun little Easter eggs if you're aware of the characters in their original, format and original appearances. And so Matoya was this witch woman. In the Nintendo, the original version, she's blind, and she uses a crystal ball to see. And so you have to get the crystal ball back for her, is the whole gist of Matoya and the original one. That's not anything to do with this current one. She sends you to get a book, and then you bring the book back, and she translates it for you. So it's not like the Nintendo one, but one of the fun things is the Nintendo controller only had the pad, the up, down, left, right pad, a start and select button, and a B and an A button. And that was it. That's all the original controller had. And so there weren't a lot of extra buttons to do things with. And so as you're playing the game, you when you very first start the game, you're trapped in this little area because the bridge is out, and the king's daughter has been kidnapped, and so he has no interest in fixing this bridge because, well, his daughter's been kidnapped, and so he asks you to save his daughter. And so that's how Final Fantasy starts, basically. And so you go and you rescue his daughter and you fight this dude, and then they let you across the across the bridge, or they rebuild the bridge, and then you, you know, um, you do some exploring, and you run across Matoya's cave. And so when you talk to Matoya, she's like, "You've got to find my crystal. The dark elf stole my crystal." Footwear and Cripplum mod schematic. And so in her cave is a bunch of brooms, and she has enchanted brooms who are just constantly sweeping. And so, but you can talk to them because they're enchanted and they speak. And one of the brooms, when you speak to them, most of them speak in reverse English. So all the letters are backwards. And it's not reverse English. It's spelled in reverse letters, reverse order. And so you have to, flip the letters around. So, I'm a kid, right? So this is exciting. I have deciphered the puzzle. And so one of the brooms in reverse speech tells you to press B and select at the same time to bring up the map. And so that's how you learn to bring up the map, is the brooms telling you in reverse lettering, push B, select. So we get to Matoya's cave, and I'm like, oh man, Matoya. She's cool in the first one. I don't know if she was cool, but it's exciting to me that Matoya exists in this game. And so you go in her cave. Guess what she's got? She's got enchanted brooms that have reverse speech. They don't tell you how to open the map because it's 30 years later, and you just hit M to bring up your map because you're playing on the computer. But I thought that was really cool that they put her in the game and they had her brooms in there that speak in reverse. Of course, people I'm playing with, they've never played Final Fantasy, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, that's cool." I was like, "No, it's really cool. You don't understand how cool it is. Like that moment when you're playing the game and you figure out they're telling you how to open the map because it's not in the instructions, right? It didn't tell you in the instructions how to do that. They you only get that when you learn it from the. I'm not going in there. I saw there was a trap under there. But you only get it when you learn it from the broom. And so I thought that was pretty cool. It's also got a little nod to one of the later games as well. I can't remember if it's 5 or 6, but we are in our story quest now. We are currently trying to put basically a drill on the front of the ship so that we can drill into the next area, which happened in one of the earlier Final Fantasies with the same ship, the Enterprise. You have the airships, and they don't look like it in Final Fantasy 14, but in earlier Final Fantasy games, the airships look like seagoing vessels that have like propellers on them, and so they can fly. That doesn't make any sense. A seagoing vessel probably does have a propeller on it, but I mean like helicopter blades. And then they use usually some kind of magic thing, the float stone or something that crystals. A lot of times it's crystals that give it less weight and allow it to fly. And so in the one Final Fantasy, you've got your airship, and you have to go underground, and I want to say the volcano entrance to the underground freezes over. I mean, it didn't freeze; the magma hardened, and so you have to get the right materials and build a um, a drill. I mean, you don't build in those games. You collect the materials and hand them to a guy who's like, "Oh yeah, now I can do it." And then seems to me you have to get better engines for the ship at some point too, which we've already done. And then once you drill down into the underworld, you can't cross over the lava, and because it's too hot. And so instead, you pass over the cooler areas of lava, right? And then eventually they plate the hull in. mm, Is it mithril? Silver? Mithril? One of those two. To make sure that. Oh, did I go up a level? Or am I just still. Oh, I did go up a level. Look at that. Nice. I need like 6 points, right, to get to 10. So I got 1 out of 7 points. I was thinking I was at 9 int, but I'm not. Dang it. And so yeah, so it's cool to be doing some of the same stuff that I did. I mean, a different game, but still. Um, Repairing the Enterprise and making it better than what it was. So that we can travel to new areas. I hate those crawly guys. This needs to be repaired. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it here for today. Probably, I'm not sure what's going on tomorrow night. I was thinking, we've been working on this other thing, these Moogles. Um, well, okay, so one of the things that they give you in the game are tomestones, and they're turned in for gear. And the current event going on until tonight, about a half hour here, it shuts down. The current event shuts down that gives you irregular tomestones, which are used with the Moogles to purchase things. And so I did purchase the one thing that you can only get through this event, and which was a mount. They have a lot of mounts in this game, a lot of things to fly on, and so I did do that. So we did work on that a little bit this weekend. The Moogles. I bought the Falcon, which is an airship from. I want to say the Enterprise is Final Fantasy IV, and the Falcon is maybe 6. But yeah, so we did play with that a little bit this weekend. I know my nephew sent me a message asking if anybody wanted to get on and do more Moogles. I'm like, no, I can't. I got work. But yeah, I'm like 280 hours or so in now. It's still a pretty fun game. I feel like I'm 280 hours in. I feel like I'm finally getting the hang of it, maybe. Yeah, I had to go all the way through to the end of the pack. Once again, my summoner is locked behind the main storyline, and so everybody's running around in our group with their class quests done. And meanwhile, we had to get all the way to the end of the expansion so that I could get my end of expansion ability on my summoner, which is pretty cool. Got a weird ability called Dreadworm Trance that for 15 seconds makes all my spells cast instantly. They still have their recast times, so it's not. I mean, I guess it shortens my one spell down from 2.5 second cast to insta cast, but you still need the 2.5 second recast before you can cast it again. But now I've got yep, I don't remember what that's called. But it added an AoE that I can cast that ends the Dreadworm trance. And so the goal is to shove as many attacks in while under Dreadworm trance, but also get that big AoE in before time runs out. So it's a new attack method I gotta figure out. Also, strangely enough, we were playing, and I kept noticing that I'm playing like two different classes, but I'm really playing Summoner, and I occasionally work on a Dragoon. And so my Dragoon has got these abilities where you use the first ability, and then that activates the second ability, and then you can use the third ability. And if you don't land all three of them in basically if you don't land all three of them in a row, then you don't get the benefits of three. And so it puts a little highlighted outline around the button to push, and I noticed that it was happening to my summoner. And I thought it was a glitch. I thought what I was seeing was I'd been playing my Dragoon, I switched to my summoner, I must have had that ability primed, and instead of turning off the outline just stayed stuck on, right? No big deal. Stuff like that happens all the time. No, it turns out that my summoner now also has an ability that keys off of different abilities, and I didn't know it. It's so weird that I I don't know how long I had it because I was ignoring it because you got two main target spells called Ruin. Well, no, you got a main target. Your main attack spell is called Ruin on the summoner. And then I discovered, well, not I didn't discover, I read, so I discovered for me that there's two different versions of the Ruin spell, but they're called Ruin 1 and Ruin 2. And then when they upgrade, Ruin 1 becomes Ruin 3, and Ruin 2 becomes Ruin 4. No, Ruin 1 must become Ruin 3. Yeah. So Ruin 1 is 2.5 seconds to cast, 2.5 seconds to recast. Ruin 2 is instacast, and then takes 2.5 seconds or whatever to recast. But Ruin 2 costs twice as much as Ruin 1, and does less damage. Which I think that's stupid, but there's a lot of dodging in the game, and when you move, you stop casting, and so it lets you insta-cast a spell when you have to move. And so parts go in the other place. And so so I didn't realize that, and then eventually found that out, that I was doing it wrong. And so I swapped back to having two ruins on my screen. So what happens now is I cast a spell, and you have pet abilities, and so my pet does an ability, and the pet's ability triggers Further Ruin, it's called. And so Further Ruin allows me to cast an instacast Ruin 4, which doesn't stay on my hotbar. And Ruin 4 is way more damage than Ruin 3 now as my main attack spell, or Ruin 2, and so it's pretty cool. I just realized it yesterday that what I was looking at was my upgraded ability that links to another ability and not carryover from my Dragoon, who has a whole bunch of linked abilities. Um, but yeah, so it's a fun, complicated game. I dig that there's a lot of different things that go into it. I'm really disappointed by a lot of modern RPG MMO things because they have so few abilities. And I really like having a lot of different abilities. This guy does not have that many. I mean, he has a handful of abilities, um, but mostly I can just switch between single target and AoE target. There's not a lot going on beyond that. I really like my old EQ2 summoner because while a lot of things you just cast everything against everything, some of the creatures did depend on like physical damage or fire or ice, and I could swap between those at will to make sure you got the best attacks. The summoner in Final Fantasy 14, all his attacks are just unaspected, so they just do damage, which is weird when you like attack a toolbox, but you cast, bio, which is like a disease on the toolbox. um, all right, well, I need to go, so I will talk to you later. Be better than small things, lean in the light. I guess I'll talk to you later.